welcome back everybody to Haki Review. I hope you all had a great day, a great night, or a great morning, wherever the hell you are from. Today we're gonna be discussing Loki and his character, where he's going, if he's gonna be joining the Strawhats or not, and we're gonna deep dive his character, his powers, where are we heading with this guy. I mean, he seems to be the talk of the fan base nowadays, so hit the like and subscribe button to begin with, so show me some love and let's get right into the discussion. Let's go. The first topic I have written about, Loki's backstory is not complete because there are 14 years that we don't get to see him, right? The 6 years that he was in prison and the 8 years prior, right? So when Harald died, that was it for the backstory, essentially. There's a gap. What did Loki do on this gap? Well, he set out to sea, but I thought we were gonna get that right now. I didn't think that we're gonna head back into the present so soon. It's not soon because we have been away from the Strawhats and Luffy for like 7-8 months now, but still there are a lot of stuff that we want explained. I feel like Oda did that deliberately. There is something that he has hidden within Loki's character. And you know, in some mythologies, Loki's the god of mischief, right? In fact, I believe it's Norse mythology, this. And so it would make a lot of sense for Oda to incorporate this here. And what a twist it would be if somehow, some way, some form, like he turns on the Strawhats and wants to use them for his own sake. Right? Maybe the twist of Loki as of now was that, oh, he looked evil in the beginning. The twist is that he's good, actually. That is the essential twist, right? I don't think so. I'm still not buying that Loki is this pure-hearted guy. Maybe he is good-hearted in his heart from the very beginning, but stuff changed you, man. I mean, this guy pretty much was being freaking tortured by his own mother, okay? She did not want him, she did not care for him, she was scared of him. So when you're going through such circumstances, you're gonna get fucked in the head, bro, essentially. Where do I want to go with this? I don't believe, and I'm saying yet again, I don't believe that this is it for Loki. Is gonna be the guy that helps us defeat Emu, and then we're going straight to Mariswa after. Where the hell we're going, I don't know. No, just purely out of two things that I have in my head that for me, and I could be bullshitting, I could be a gaslighter, I could be the worst theory crafter in all of One Piece history, right? Could be that, but I have a feeling, and might be wrong, but I have a feeling that Loki, first of all, from that very first panel we saw, Luffy walks up to him, this tiny ass Luffy, and this freaking giant buff ass motherfucker sitting there all chained up with a smile on his face, looking like, if I wasn't in these freaking shackles, I'd beat you up. And you got that feeling, right? You got that feeling that maybe Luffy would not be defeated at that point, but he would have a real hard time against Loki. And so from that moment on, I really had an omnibus feeling toward him, and I butchered that. I really butchered that freaking word. But from that moment on, I was uneasy about Loki. And this comes from the guy that almost freaking cried during his backstory, right? But his mother threw him down to the underworld and everything. I feel for this character, but I'm not convinced. The second thing is that Loki is too strong. What I'm gonna say, because we're not discussing his power yet, so is that Loki is too strong. He has a devil fruit, and potentially his hammer has or not potentially, we know that his hammer has a devil fruit as well. So the hammer has a devil fruit, or one or two, I don't know, probably one, and him having a devil fruit. The amount of power displays that he has shown in such a short amount of time is incredible, okay? That for me is a reason that Loki might not be fully on our side, because that will kill the suspense, it will kill the stakes in this arc. I know that most of the giants, and in fact we don't know what's going on up there, so it might be all of the giants are in Domi reversing right now, and it's just hell up there. Maybe the Strawhats are in Domi River Sea, which would be insane. So we don't know everything as of yet. But right now, assuming that not all of the giants are in Domi River Sea, where are the stakes? It'll be Luffy, Loki, Zoro, Sanji beating these motherfuckers up, and then it's over. Okay, they're gonna have a hard time with Bunko, but the Holy Knights are, I mean, Gaban is not in prime, and he essentially freaking one-shot Summers, right? Summers could barely move for like, I don't know, 5 minutes after? So, going back to it, it will be just Luffy, Loki, Zoro, Sanji beating up these guys and having them essentially turn back to normal. Because we already know Dory and Broggy are not gonna lose their life. Nobody's gonna lose their... Maybe somebody. Maybe one giant that's very irrelevant, right? But none of these guys are gonna lose their lives. They're gonna be turned back. It's just a matter of how. And if they're not all of the giants are turned back, if not all of the giants are in Domi River, see, that makes it even worse because it gives us an easier job to handle, right? What is the job of the Strawhats, for example? Protecting the kids? Maybe that's the worst case scenario, really. The best case scenario is to have all of the Strawhats go up against Emu and the Holy Knights and whatever, okay? How? We don't know. Okay, but going back to Loki, either he's too powerful or he's gonna be handicapped if he sticks with us as being a good guy. Now, if not, if he has his own agenda, that we don't know. There's a person that he talks to on the phone. That person is heavily theorized to be Shirahoshi. Now, Shirahoshi is the mermaid princess or the Mushi, right? I don't buy that. I don't buy that whatsoever. Just purely off the fact that how old is Shirahoshi right now? And like my math, I may be wrong, but let's look at it at this point, okay? Shirahoshi is 16. Don't you think it's kind of weird for Loki to be talking to such a young kid about important matters? Like about him being assaulted by Shamrock, for example? I don't remember the entire conversation that he had with Musaku, but his father died 14 years ago. He was out at sea at 8 years, and then the 6 years after, he was held in the prison. So Shirahoshi, I thought she's like 12 years old exactly, but that leaves 4 years old. And if you're not understanding what I'm saying, I get it, because I don't even understand what I'm saying right now. But the thing is, he set out to sea 14 years ago. That means that Shirahoshi was 2 years old then. Okay, maybe at the end, absolute end of his journey. When was the end of the journey? 6 years ago. So that means Shirahoshi was 8. If the math is mathing, maybe. If maybe not. Okay, I don't know. Okay, but I think if Loki met Shirahoshi at the end of his journey, maybe Musa could be Shirahoshi. Maybe. Because then she would be 8 years old. But why? I don't know. It's just ain't mathing for me, man. Like, why would he talk to a child? An important child at that, so I'll give him credit for this. But why would he talk to a child about such important stuff? And why would that person be the only one to talk to him in prison? That just does not make sense for me. What makes sense for me, though, is that we have one character from this backstory that nobody is talking about, really. Nobody's even batted an eye on this character after she was gone. And that is, you might think I'm crazy, maybe I am, but that is Blackbeard's mother. Now, what's Blackbeard's mother's name? Her name is Eris. Eris was on God Valley. Wow, what a shocker, right? And she managed to escape. Like, nobody managed to escape that incident. Only her and Blackbeard, right? Now, that is crazy. Because since when is mothers treated this way in One Piece? Usually the mother is the one that dies in the backstory. Why? Essentially, there cannot be no adventure with a mother there, because if Luffy's mother was alive, for example, then he would be home with his mom. You know, his mom would be taking care of him. He wouldn't be out in the wild fighting boars and bears and whatever. You know, his mom would be taking care of him. Okay, if a mother's there, it's hard to have an adventure. That's why Oda kills the mothers in the backstories, right? A lot of One Piece mothers are not treated that well. Get it, I don't actually have a problem with it. You know, it's kind of hard, like, oh, oh, where is everybody's mom? It's a tragic thing, but I get the logic behind it, you know? Why essentially would Loki be talking to Eris? Well, Eris is the mother of Blackbeard and the former wife of Roxy Zebek, Loki's idol. So why wouldn't he want to know more about Rox, how he died, why he died, and what is going on there, you know? So the connection might be there, it might not be too strong, but I feel as though this was left out on purpose. Or maybe I'm totally wrong, and we're gonna see what happened with Eris and Blackbeard's backstory. Somehow, some way, this is proof to me that she's still alive. And this whole time, Blackbeard was protecting her. I know this sounds crazy, but I still think she's alive to this day, present day. I still think she's alive. Because after the events of what happened on God Valley, Blackbeard and his mom, they gotta be shook, right? They gotta be scared out of their mind. Their father and husband died. Boom, bye-bye. Okay, they're the strongest person they knew. How can they... The entire world is after them. Oh, don't forget. They're from the Davy clan, bro. The entire world government is after them. And they have to hide, and they play hide and seek their entire lives, essentially. Up until Blackbeard joins the Whitebeard Pirates. What age was he? I'm not really sure. But I think that Blackbeard scammed his way through everything. He joined the Whitebeard Pirates for a reason. He knew, and maybe did not know that Whitebeard was in Rox's crew, or maybe he did, okay? But I think he joined them for a reason. So he hid his mother, told her to be careful on some island, I don't know, and then he went on Blackbeard's ship, okay? He did not even have the freaking lights on him until 2 years ago in the story. So he kept himself also hidden in Whitebeard's shadow. Now, why would Loki again, if somehow he met up with Blackbeard? Like, think about it. On his journey, Loki's journey, he met up with Blackbeard and had I don't know, they had a blast, right? In that period, oh, but then, hold on, I think I'm wrong about this. Yeah, because this all happened, like, Blackbeard began his move 2 years ago, too. Also, it was like 2 years, 6 months or something that he did the thing he did against Whitebeard. Or let's say 3 years, but I think it's like 2.5 years. He killed Thatch, escaped the crew, and Ace was hunting him. That means either Loki met Blackbeard, if he ever met him. That means Loki met Blackbeard, I don't know, like some in the middle of all of that, right? Immediately after Blackbeard left the Whitebeard Pirates, Loki gotta have met him. Or he met him much sooner than that somewhere. But I think it's gotta be after he left the Whitebeard Pirates. So what I'm trying to say is there is a dimension there somewhere with the probability of Blackbeard meeting Loki and hitting off with him. And he was like, oh, you know, I know your father, man. He's like, what? How do you know my father? And they begin to chat and blah, blah, blah. And he tells him, Blackbeard tells him about his mother. And then he's like, oh, if something happens to me, protect my mother. I don't know. Or we gotta, here's a contact to her, a very important person. Maybe he does not say it's his mom. He's assuming it is his mom he's talking to. I'm probably wrong, and the other people are probably right. He's probably talking to Shirahoshi, but I don't know. That just does not make sense to me. It does not. It does not whatsoever. I don't know what he's going to speak to Shirahoshi about. Why not speak about his former idol? We did not really know Loki's thoughts on Zebek being dead, or nah, we did not get that. So that's a bit of a weird one, right? Let's discuss why Loki might be the person causing the problems on elbaf. Not in that way, but he's the person causing my problems with elbaf. There will be no stakes. Everybody there is kind of a weakling, man. I mean, even if they're enhanced power-wise with the regeneration and the Dome Reversi, the guys will still whoop their ass, you know? They won't break a sweat. You won't see Sanji and Zoro going all out, pleading and everything, having the toughest time against Dome Reversi, Dorian Broggy. And you won't either see that from the Holy Knights. basically trash, okay? The Holy Knights would be good to pair them up against the other Straw Hats. And the other Straw Hats gotta think up a way or unlock Conqueror's Haki to defeat these Holy Knights, right? But in my opinion, Loki's powers is the reason we're not having any stakes right now. Loki's powers are essentially what we could see. He could use ice. That is incredible. He jumped out looking like the main character of the story against a monster skeleton thing, and he punched it with some ice powers, right? We've also seen him use lightning powers from the hammer. Incredible. We've also seen him have Zoan powers. That was against Harald when he killed his father. His powers, Loki's powers, essentially remind me of Law's powers. Why? Because Law's powers are very versatile. He can do a lot of things that not necessarily involved with his core powers. His core powers are the room, you know? But he can do a room full of silence. He can like put room on certain objects. He can extend certain, Law is crazy. He can essentially do whatever the hell he wants within that room. He can shock you. What is that all about? You know, that the injection shot gamma knife, you know? That's what Loki's power seems to be. He seems to have a lot of various things going for it. Attacks and everything. Overpowered, okay? Something has to be like wrong here, okay? Or Oda ups the stakes somehow, okay? Somehow, some way, Oda makes it feel like shit, we're having a real hard time against all of this. And hopefully that is the case. I'm not saying that everything I'm saying is right and Loki's gonna be overpowered and he will end up with ties to Blackbeard and everything. I'm just discussing, man. Just discussing what I have in my mind. Okay, maybe every single word I've said is full of shit. Okay, maybe. But I hope that Oda ups the stakes really. And I hope the guys lose this arc. I think when we're in need of a loss, we kind of lost last arc. Oda kind of showed us that, yeah, we're not invincible even though we have Gear 5. We're not invincible because Vegapunk did die. Now, if there was a difference between Stella and Vegapunk, they're essentially the same. Yeah, but we did lose on that aspect, that Stella died. Are we going to lose even more this arc? Hopefully. Like, that would be so awesome. And then they have to really prepare for the final battle and everything. That would be great. That would actually be great. Other than that, I don't really have much to say. Maybe Shirahoshi is Musaku. Maybe it's Eris Teach's mom. Or maybe it's somebody else. Who the fuck knows? The thing I know is that Loki is freaking fire-ass character. And his backstory is absolutely incredible. How he was treated with his mom, how his dad was holding him up for the first time, and baby Loki did not even know how to react to that, and the upbringing of him being a bully and everything because of the hard things he went through, but you still kind of think he's an asshole because he's like fighting his brother and blaming his brother on everything, and he was a little bit piece of trash. I get it. Try to get me, okay? Some people go through a hard time and go through very, very hard times. That still does not justify the bad things they do. I don't want to give examples because that would be totally insane. You guys have the brain cells to know what I'm saying. So he's not a fully black and white character. He's a little bit in the gray. He went through some harsh stuff. He had an idol which was there because of these harsh stuff, you know. The Beck would not be his idol if Loki was not like his upbringing wasn't that terrifying, right? If he was a good guy entirely, then he's like, who the fuck is Zebek, bro? Fuck that guy. He's not a good guy, okay? He's a delinquent or whatever. Yeah, and his upbringing, his relationship with his dad, his relationship with his brother, and his relationship with Ida, his stepmother. Wow, that's incredible as well. Like how he finally accepted her, and just when he accepted her, she goes up and dies from this disease. Amazing. He goes on a rampage. They poisoned her. That wasn't a disease. They poisoned Ida. His actual mother his blood mother's brother, so would be his uncle. He poisoned Ida, the son of a bitch. And so Loki went ham on that entire part. He killed that guy, he killed his subordinates as well, and yeah, Loki's done a lot of shit in his days. A lot of bad shit, a lot of, yeah, it's full of bad shit, okay? I understand where he comes from. I understand his heart, why he does all of these things. It does not justify them as well, though. So, yeah, I mean, Loki's a fantastic character. His stepmother is a fantastic character. His mother is a piece of shit. And Oda cooked with this character, really. I mean, Oda's been cooking this entire arc. Every introduction to characters we've gotten in freaking elbaf has been fire, essentially. So Oda's not going wrong, and I mean, I don't know, I just think he has cooked so hard with this arc, and he's pleasing a lot of the fans as well, so that I'm liking. Loki will do a lot of fighting in the upcoming chapters up until the end of the arc, that we know, and he really wants to free his country and everything. That's what I'm saying. If he goes against Luffy, it won't be because of elbaf. It would have a totally different meaning if he does. If not, I'm totally okay with that as well. Okay, if Oda does this right, and if there are stakes still, even though Loki's on our side, I'm okay with that, bro. Some people, they be angry when their predictions does not come true. I mean, these are just predictions, my man. Like, why are you that freaking scared that they wouldn't come true? You know, you're scared that your predictions would not come true, because that would make you, like, I don't know, that would hurt your feelings. I don't understand that. I mean, predictions are there to predict. Some may have them right, some may get them wrong. Most of them get them wrong, and that's the point of this. You know, that's the point of these discussions, that nobody knows if it's wrong or right until the end of One Piece, right? Okay, so don't get freaking butthurt about you not So I hope the people who watched, and you, my friend, I hope you enjoyed. So I'll see you guys back on Tuesday. Check out the video about Emu. It was a fire video. It will be in the description. Check that out. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.